The more valuable someone is to your organization, the more frequently you should be communicating with them. You should not let weeks go by where you're not talking to your leaders. Because I can assure you, if that happens for too long, they're going to start feeling left out. They're going to start feeling alone. They're going to start feeling like, no one's worried about them, concerned. And the moment someone reaches out from another company, it's going to make them feel like, oh, they care, but my upline doesn't care. Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast, The Freedom Factory. Listen, it's been a little bit. You guys know I go through these runs every once in a while where I am laser focused on some things that just doesn't allow me to get the podcast done. Guys, I will never say I was too busy to do the podcast because that's not true. You are not too busy to do certain things. It's just you're making other things a priority. And so that's just the facts. Other things were priorities over the podcast. It hurts to say that, right? Because I really, really enjoy doing the podcast, and I know you guys enjoy getting the content. But here we are. Let's go, and I'll do better. I'll do better at my consistency with getting this thing out. We're closing in on 100 episodes of the podcast, and I'll tell you, it there's definitely a lot of times where I feel like I've said everything that needs to be said. However, I do keep track of things that happen throughout the week and conversations I have, and they kind of stay in my head, and I'll come up with a concept or a way to communicate it to you guys. So there's some learning moments in that. That's what's happened this week. I want to talk to you guys this week about communication and what happens when it's right, what happens when it's wrong. And no matter how much you communicate with some people, there's still going to be misunderstandings, misinformation, things will get missed. But I will say that if you want to build a successful organization, if you want to have a successful team, then communicating just, once a week in a team Zoom or team chat is not going to cut it. Not if you're wanting to make thousands of dollars a month, or, six-figure incomes. It's just not going to happen. There's going to have to be high levels of communication. Now, given like just recently for me, right, there are days where you're going to take some time off. And that's what's just happened recently. We just had our big week with the family in the Keys. And to put it shortly, they were long days, right? Because we take our boat down there, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with the boat, and that responsibility falls on my shoulders. So there were days that were over 12 hours for me. And so nevertheless, I was spending time there, and it was epic. It was awesome. But there was definitely some things I missed, and I felt in the last week, I felt like this I don't know, this pit in my stomach a couple times where I just knew I was not present enough for the conversations that were going on. And I had to just kind of talk my way through that and just say it's going to be okay. Like, because listen, you want to build a business that is sustainable for decades, right? We're not talking about building a business that needs your attention all the time. However, you do want to stay in high levels of conversation. And so there was a situation last week where they were expecting me on a Zoom and I was not there. And that's on me for not communicating. And so that's the topic here, right? So what I want to just lay out for you guys is how I communicate, like the channels that I communicate through, how I do it, why I do it, and also share some new things that I've been doing. Okay. First thing is this. Because there's so many ways to communicate these days, I do try to categorize my conversations in the platforms that I use. So, for a lot of the people who are already business partners with me, I would like to use WhatsApp. I can do one-on-one conversations there. I can easily do group conversations there. It allows me a lot of flexibility and freedom to kind of tailor the conversations to the right audience in WhatsApp. Facebook Messenger and what's in direct message and Instagram are used for me for more of a recruiting channel. So I don't like to communicate with my team or personal friends in Messenger too much because that's where a lot of my recruiting is done. And then regular text messaging is reserved for things outside of network marketing, the rest of my life, whether it's real estate, investing, um, marine stuff, family stuff. I know if I need to talk to those people, it's over in my text messages. If I'm recruiting, it's all in Messenger, and if it's my team, I'm over in WhatsApp. That has worked for me for years. So if you're having a hard time, like where did I put that or where did I read that? That will help you. What I just shared with you. Okay. Now, within those platforms, I will tell you that recently I have observed certain leaders that are active daily in their chats. And I've seen kind of the activity with their teams there and how people respond. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be a part of those groups because there's real community feel in there. So, my suggestion to you is maybe have some communication with your team that obviously you want to stay business forward, right? You don't want to be just a busy chat with real no substance to the conversation. However, it's healthy if you're in there training. It's healthy if you're in there recognizing accomplishments of others. It's healthy if you're in there providing content that builds belief, right? Testimony stories of product, business, those sort of things, and doing it frequently. Look what I found today, guys, or look what I read today. That type of stuff being in there is really, really good. And also, if people are used to the chat and being kind of tuned into it each day, it's super simple. Even if you are out on vacation or away, it's super simple to go in there and just say, hey, good morning, guys. Just a reminder, I'm off my phone today, right? Um, that is something that I'm doing more of that's keeping me kind of from feeling like I'm being letting other people down, right? By just communicating at a higher level. I'll tell you guys this. The more valuable someone is to your organization, the more frequently you should be communicating with them. You should not let weeks go by where you're not talking to your leaders because I can assure you if that happens for too long, they're going to start feeling left out. They're going to start feeling alone. They're going to start feeling like, no one's worried about them, concerned. And the moment someone reaches out from another company, it's going to make them feel like, oh, they care, but my upline doesn't care. Okay. And so just the more valuable someone is to your organization, the more frequently you should be talking to them. And might require that you put reminders in your phone. Like, I need to talk to this person weekly. I need to talk to this person bi-monthly. And then I need to talk to this person monthly. I've done that for years and years where I had reminders in my phone, like call this person, on a, just a weekly repeat basis, right? And it works. It absolutely works. So I would just say, look at the way things are happening in your organization. You can tell if your team is responding well by the retention in your groups and the retention of your volumes. Because teams that are feeling connected, feeling educated, feeling loved, those groups are growing. If they're not, then those groups are struggling. Okay. So just be very conscious. The whole theme of this podcast is be very conscious of how often you are communicating with your team and be also conscious of what platforms you're doing it in so that you stay organized and your team can duplicate the same type of communication, All right. So anyway, I hope you got a little bit of value out of this, some insight as to how I'm communicating. People ask me all the time, like, how in the world do you have the time to run these global organizations with all the time zones and all the things going on? I'm giving you a little bit of a glimpse. You cannot, well, the saying is you can't let the dog, the tail wag the dog. And some people may take that harshly, but the reality is each one of us has to build a business that we want to sustain for years and years, right? I don't want to be jumping from a million different groups on all these different platforms, pulling my hair out, trying to keep up. I don't want to do that. That's not how I want my business built. And so just think about how you want your business to look 5 years from now and start building it that way today. All right. You guys have a good week. We'll talk soon.